Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of The Game Changer. It is 2 episodes in a matter of hours here. Went from the talking pre-show for SmackDown to, I guess we could call this a one-time only Talking Smack 2.0 episode here. I'm, of course, Nate the Effing Great, and I am being joined here by the one, the only, the legendary Mr. James Fretz. How's it going, my good friend?
Thank you very much, man. It's nice to be on. Finally, after canceling on you more times than the debuts of Sanity, Brodus Clay, and Emelina combined.
Well, I don't really consider it cancellation. It was just one of those things where it's like, work with each other's schedule and see what happens here. Well, this day doesn't work because I have work going on. This doesn't work because of that. It's just one of those things where, again, it's like, well, this stuff happens, so what the hell? Not even a big deal. But it's so good to have you on here, and I am actually very thankful that it happened the night as soon as SmackDown ended, because this is the best way to do it. We have 4 nights of wrestling to talk about, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Just, my God. I mean, let's just start off with NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
That is the best way to put it, is wow. So, we'll go through some of the matches bit by bit and kind of give you guys a little bit more. I did do a review on SummerSlam as well as TakeOver on our Facebook fan page, but now we're getting into actual true thoughts and true feelings on some of these matches. Then we'll also talk about Raw and SmackDown. Then, of course, close it off with quite a few deals, including a special challenge that I got to make for Hell in the Cell coming up in September. But we'll get into that a little later on the show. Like I said, NXT TakeOver. We kicked it off with the NXT Tag Team Championships. Now, obviously, when you have the Undisputed Era, that's going to be a can't-miss matchup. And I did see you do the motion. They took on Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven, as well as Tyler Bate. God help me. I look at Tyler Bate and I see him in this performance. I think to myself, he is going to be basically the next Cesaro, where he is going to basically be able to manhandle everyone that he can get his hands on. And, of course, Undisputed Era did a fantastic job as well. Trent Seven had a moment during the matchup where he almost threw in the towel, just like he almost had the towel thrown in at him at their last confrontation. But then Trent's just like, you know what? Nope. Free thing for the fans. And they just
took it out of Helen Hart's hands, man. Right out of there.
But it was still an enjoyable matchup. And the ending happened with Undisputed Era going over. They hit a nice high-low combination, and they picked up the win.
It was the total elimination!
Oh, that's right. The Eliminators.
Oh, my God!
But now we can't even... It's one of those things where it's like WWE would like to kind of forget about the Eliminators. It's like, no, they were the finishers of the Shining Stars. Shut up. Shining Stars are not...
says, needs more Kronos.
Oh, jeez Louise. But yeah, this was... I said it in my review, and I'll say it again. NXT TakeOvers always have a good reputation of having great opening matches, and this was no different.
It was amazing. I liked that. I think... oh man, I'm drawing a blank here now already. But one of the guys did a giant swing with the airplane spin. Yeah, Bate. There we go.
Tyler Bate. Yeah.
He just airplane spin with the giant swing. I want to see him do that to say Big E and Killian Dane.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I kind of want to see that too. That's a nostalgic moment for me. If that happens, I'll be like, oh, this man is the real Superman. Cesaro.
He's deceptively powerful. Like he looks like me. I'm 5'5", about 202, and he looks about the same as me, except jacked.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that he's jacked, and he has definitely got more muscles than both you and I combined. He's one of those guys who definitely earned the right to be the first ever UK champion. And anytime they mention him as the UK champion, he deserves it. He always and it's one of those things where it's like, why hasn't we gotten more Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne matches? Because they really worked well together. I kind of want it to be like not the Gargano and Ciampa, but they could literally almost maybe be like the Okada-Kenny Omega deal in WWE, where the main roster might think like, oh, well, there's not much to think about NXT, but then they see this match, it's like, oh, we have to rival that? Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Or it could be the Gargano Ciampa of NXT UK, because they have their TV taping starting this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Dunn and Bate tagging against I forget Wolfgang and another guy. I forget who the UK roster is, but I know that they're tagging together. So maybe you can get a little bit of dissension and start a new feud for the UK title.
That would be absolutely amazing, and I would want that. And we would get Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate again. So no complaints here. Next matchup on the card was EC3 versus Velveteen Dream. This matchup, in my opinion, was kind of I wouldn't say like the worst, but it was the least exciting, really. And I think it might have to do with the fact that the chemistry between EC3 and Velveteen Dream, on the mic, it's great, but in the ring, it's definitely a lot different. It felt like it was one of those matches that was kind of a bit slow at times, but Velveteen Dream also, it did not really affect him that much. It was one of those things where I was worried that with this pace being slowed down, it's going to affect Velveteen Dream. It didn't. It honestly still made him a very versatile and great athlete. And oh my God, can you on his trunks, it basically had two things. It had one on basically his butt where it says, "Call me up, Vince," and on the side of his leg, it has hashtag Notorious Dream on it. God help me, Velvet.
Squish for pal.
God help me. The day they call up Velveteen Dream to the main roster, it is going to have a huge reaction. People are already going to be just losing their minds.
Ambiance, atmosphere, illumination, experience. I can't wait. He is a star. Cena says he's the next one. Being 22 years old, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Definitely agree with that. Velveteen Dream would hit his Velveteen Driver, and then he would hit his elbow drop on the apron to EC3 for the victory. And it's actually, I think, the first victory Velveteen Dream has gotten on TakeOver in, I want to say, maybe a year. It's probably been.
Since Cassius Ohno, since he debuted the character.
Oh, wow. It's been that long? Holy crap.
Dream Valley Driver and Purple Rainmaker.
Oh, wow. That...
He had the match against Aleister Black where it was all about say my name, then welcome to infamy. He had another... did he have one in January in Philly?
I want to say yes, but I need to look this up now because it's going to bug me if I don't know, because I feel like
he was in the ladder match.
Yes, he was in the ladder match, and then he had that awesome encounter with Ricochet at NXT TakeOver Chicago,
which could be the next North American title match. Oops, spoilers.
Oh my gosh, don't even tease me, sir. Let's see here. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, okay. Let's see here, oh, no, it's been since January, okay, because that's when he took on Cassius Ohno.
Oh wow! I thought it was last year. He debuted the character. Nope, that was Aleister Black. So, wow.
Yeah, we learn something new every day. But let's see, where is he again? Oh, okay. I thought he maybe did it during a different. Never mind. All right. Either way, like we said, call up Velveteen Dream, make the roster great again. Just saying. Oh.
Where does he go, though? Raw or SmackDown?
That's a good question. So this is basically just fantasy booking on our parts. I would actually have him... Honestly, I'd send him to SmackDown. I think that him versus Styles would be absolutely amazing. Maybe they could build up a feud between him and Andrade Cien Almas. When you go to Raw, it's kind of one of those things where they're going to recycle the same people. That's the problem, is that they got Seth Rollins on there, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman. They're going to keep those bigger guys up there on that pedestal for a long time, unfortunately. I feel like with SmackDown, they're actually trying to change things up, so...
You get him on SmackDown, and he starts playing the mind games. You'll get him in coming out with like Andrade's Mexico mask. You'll get him coming out in AJ Styles' old school short tights from TNA, or like his Bullet Club mask, or anything like this. If they write for him correctly, I'm even looking at him fighting a guy like Kevin Owens, coming out in his KO, fight me shorts, kind of like he did with Cassius Ohno's deal.
Man, possibilities are endless, but we'll see what happens in the forthcoming months, maybe weeks, because Velveteen Dream, never know when he's going to debut. We move on to the next matchup, which was, in my opinion, my match of this event. And I know people are going to be saying that's blasphemous because the main event was the match of the night. I have a huge impartialness to this matchup. We had the North American Championships, which featured Adam Cole, Baby, taking on Prince Puma, a.k.a. Ricochet. God help me. The story in this matchup was that Adam Cole was just saying to Ricochet, you're not special, you're not special. And literally I thought to myself, oh my God, is this almost like Booker T and Triple H all over again? Is this going to be built up like this? No. Wait, it's Adam Cole and Ricochet. Never mind. There's no losing when it comes to this matchup. You have Adam Cole's storytelling along with King Ricochet's just high-flying, fast-paced moves, and everything that he did in the ring was absolutely amazing. The one spot that really scared me the most was Ricochet doing that backflip moonsault, and then Adam Cole did the super kick while he was doing the flip, and I'm like, oh God, oh no, please don't kill this man. We want more of Ricochet. Don't kill him, please.
Wow, yeah, that scary spot of the night, and I'm going back to Ricochet. He's like, oh yeah, you're not special. You don't defend the title. He went to an indie show and defended it against Walter. Friggin' Walter. Like, have you seen this guy? He's scary. Him and PCO, formerly known as Pierre Carl Ouellette from the Quebecers, they had a match at Joey Janela's Spring Break. State of their chest after the match, it looked like a friggin' dark rainbow. It looked like the Infinity Stone.
Oh my gosh, jeez.
And, Matt Riddle just faced PCO on the weekend at Janela's Lost in New York. Shout out to Dusty Dave, who was at that one. They brought a defibrillator into the ring to revive PCO. I mean, Adam Cole. Damn right he's special. If you're facing a guy like Walter who would just kill you like that, come on, Ricochet.
Yeah, but like I said, the match itself was really good. I loved how both these guys were just they had the great chemistry together, and the finish of Ricochet hitting a Hurricane Rana on the apron to the outside was amazing, and then I saw him setting him up for the 630 senton, and I'm thinking to myself, Adam Cole's getting out of the way. Adam Cole's getting out of the way. He hits it, and then it's like, no way. No way. 1, 2, 3. I was there with you. I literally cried. I was on my hands and knees just sobbing tears of joy. Like, yes! Prince Puma is a champion in NXT. Oh no, my God.
I cried for Adam Cole.
Oh, really?
Oh, man. I'm a massive Adam Cole mark. Like, I've seen the first season of Lucha Underground. I thought Prince Puma was awesome. Adam Cole's my boy.
Adam Cole, baby. But hey, he's still going to be marked as the first ever North American champion, and nobody can take that away from him. So, well,
he didn't win it in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro. So he's legit.
That is true. This is very true. So yeah, King Ricochet is the new North American champion.
Match tonight. I'm with you there.
It was beautiful. It was
yeah.
Absolutely amazing. All right, so the next matchup here was Shayna Baszler taking on Kairi Sane. This matchup, I was completely unsure of who was going to leave as the champion because A lot of speculation going on to what's going to happen at Survivor Series. They're going to have like the 4 Horsewomen matchup, possibly. Also, just thinking that, well, wouldn't that be kind of a cool sight where Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey would have had both women's titles, maybe backstage or something like that. I was thinking, well, I think Shayna's going over. I think they're going to prolong the feud between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler a little bit longer. I love the build-up to this matchup where basically it's like, oh, well, Kairi may have beaten me at the Mae Young Classic, but I have beaten her on NXT every single time. This matchup will be no different. And it was really good. Another really good physical matchup between these two, proving that they definitely do deserve to be in the women's division on the main roster. Jeez Louise, Shayna Baszler just continues to impress me every single time she steps in the ring. Also scare me because there came a moment where she had Kairi Sane's leg in like a leg lock position, and it looked like she was just about to like snap it in half. I'm like, don't kill Kairi, okay? Because I have a friend who is a huge Sane fan, and he will literally just cry or basically set you on fire if you kill this woman.
Jay Hunter loves her, man. Loves her.
Well, Kairi Sane is one of those people that's like, well, she's a cosplayer and she wrestles. What more can you ask for from the wrestler? Absolutely.
She's adorable, man. I love Kairi Sane. I liked Ronda Rousey in the crowd during her entrance. It's like, that pirate wheel doesn't do anything. She's not a real pirate. But on to Rousey again. Her and I can see Baszler coming up as Stephanie McMahon's lackey.
Oh.
And you get that feud maybe leading into Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, because Rousey Charlotte, I think, is more than likely your WrestleMania women's match, maybe main event.
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation about that, but we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, I just got a notification about the Super Show, but I'll look at that later, and maybe I'll talk about it later. But yeah, match itself, like we were saying, it's really good, really physical. The finish kind of came out of nowhere, where Kairi Sane, she went for the elbow, and Shayna got her knees up. She goes for the choke. Kairi Sane was able to go from the choke into like a cradle-like position for the 1, 2, 3, and yeah, holy cow, Kairi Sane is the new champion. Some people are happy about it. I've seen a couple of people that are just like, oh great, we have another Asian woman being the women's champion. And for me, I'm just like, it's not the same as Asuka. Asuka was like completely undefeated, and everybody's like, oh well, it's going to be complete, destruction of the women's division. She's going to just basically kill everybody, which she still did in an awesome fashion. With Kairi Sane, she's a little bit more of a believable wrestler, where I think that, she can be beaten, but she also has a lot of heart and she has a lot of talent. So, definitely cannot compare Kairi Sane to Asuka at this point.
She's like a new Bayley. Like that your adorable, cute underdog who always, gets the win. Yeah.
Well, she could also be the new Becky Lynch, where basically she can never be booed no matter what she does. She could punt a puppy into a piranha tank, and people would just be like, well, that puppy probably deserved it.
Unless that puppy was the big dog.
Well, then she would just get cheered for, like, years.
Ever. Yeah.
So we go on we go on to the main event, which featured Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title in a last man standing match. Again, 3 times in a row we've seen these guys wrestle, and 3 times they've delivered. Like I said, just story again, and so many really good spots. Relived a couple moments like Tommaso Ciampa being sent to the concrete floor again because somehow we're trying to crack his skull open. I love the moment where Ciampa basically does a literal burial of Gargano, and he's just like tossing everything on top of him, just like, yep, this is it. And then you just see Gargano just basically rise up from the ashes and get up before the 10 count. I loved everything about this, but unfortunately with the ending, it was one of those things where it's like, well, For a long time, Johnny Gargano's nemesis was the final logo for NXT takeovers. This time around, it's the handcuffs because they came into play. Gargano thought, you know what, I got him. And it looked like he was going to set up for the super kick, but Ciampa, again, playing it so well as a heel, just basically saying, hey, I'm sorry. He's like doing a genuine I'm sorry. It's not one of those things where people are thinking like, well, okay, he's saying he's sorry, but he's going to probably like half-ass mean it. But it literally looked like Tommaso was just like, I am sorry, please, don't kill me, I am sorry. He makes it so believable. And then we get, oh god, this was scary. Gargano took his knee pad off. He had his bare leg. He does the running knee to Tommaso Ciampa, and unfortunately, that leg also hits one of the equipment boxes as he was coming down. Referee makes the count, and I had a feeling that this was going to happen. As soon as I saw, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Those handcuffs are going to come into play, and somehow, Tommaso Ciampa, he's near a ledge. He's going to be able to stand. He wouldn't be able to stand if he wasn't cuffed, but the cuffs are going to keep him standing. And sure enough, Ciampa rolls to the side. It looks like he's about to fall over, but I see that his one arm's just stuck up there, so he's basically standing up, almost dead weight. Gargano can't make it for the 10 count. Ciampa wins, and he is the last man standing. Gosh.
I don't think that was as good as their other two encounters, but how can you top what they already did?
That's yeah.
And they were getting back into all their nuances, like you're running into the stage, you're bringing in the handcuffs. I mean, that was supposed to be for his wedding night. He's a terrible best man. And every little thing, like the story from their last match where he tried to apologize. No, their first match where Tommaso's like, sitting there on the mat, he's looking, apologetic, or he's just like, and then he tries to lock Johnny in the submission, crutch crossface. That's all the callbacks, even going back to the Cruiserweight Classic. This is the most perfectly told storied feud in years, and I've been watching wrestling since '94. It's one of the best. I can't wait for Johnny he's going to win that title. It might not be till WrestleMania weekend, but he's going to get that damn title. And wait, is it back at Barclays for Mania weekend? I believe it is.
It probably is.
Because it's at MetLife. WrestleMania is at MetLife. Yeah, Barclays. What full circle story would have the perfect crescendo if he won that title there? I mean, it's long-term booking. I mean, it should have happened a long time ago, but Ciampa was hurt.
Yep, sure enough, April 6th, Barclays Center. But, yeah, honestly, it would be like almost a 2-year culmination, probably, of Johnny Gargano winning the title. But I do agree with you. I think that's excellent booking to have, them have the quote-unquote final match between Gargano and Ciampa at NXT TakeOver. More likely it's going to be NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 5. Oh, gosh, that's going to be Brooklyn 5? Man, Damn you, lucky New Yorkers. You get all the good shit. When's Toronto going to get one, huh? We had Survivor Series 2016 and I couldn't go. Raw's in Toronto next week and I'm off, but I can't go. Well, you also had a NXT TakeOver Toronto, which featured...
Oh, you missed them winning the titles. And I missed it. I'm so pissed. I'm hot.
Not. I think we're getting a new hashtag getting ready to go. We're going to be doing a hashtag Salty Fretz. This is probably going to be how we're going to name this episode of The Game Changer. And I can't blame you, really. There's so many moments where it's like, I wish I could have went there. I wish I could have went there. But it's so far away. I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of work.
WrestleMania X8 is an example. I tried so hard to get tickets to that. So hard. I went entered every radio contest. I went to every Ticketmaster outlet I could find. Nope, no dice. I was 18. I was finishing off high school when that happened, and one of my teachers was just rubbing it in my face like the whole time. Like, oh, Fretz, I saw Rock Hogan. Oh, Fretz, Triple H, something. I'm just like, Miss Savage, get out of my face right now. And I remember talking to the Kings. They're like, oh, Fretz should come to WrestleMania next year. It's a dream. It's a bucket list. If I can scrounge together the dough and fly out there, that's the dream.
Yeah, and I know that they definitely do encourage a lot of really good friends that they've met on Twitter. It's like, you got to come to WrestleMania, you got to come to Somerset, you got to come to any event that happens there. They're saying, oh, dude, you got to come to do that, you got to come to do this. And I think that I might be able to make WrestleMania. I might, but we'll see. I know that it'd be really cool to meet up with the guys, meet up with Rant with Ant again. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it's a might. It's a might right now. But
I'm Will Tarasuk's secret boo, so he has to meet me eventually. I want to meet Rant too. I freaking love that podcast.
So now we go on to SummerSlam. Some of these matches are not even worth talking about too much or going too much in depth with.
7 hours.
Oh gosh! And
I hung out with my niece and nephew instead that night. I was gonna watch it, but Mom visited and let's go see the kids. I work for my brother as well, so that's one big full circle that works out. I get to see them all the time.
Hey, fair enough. And plus, family a lot of times comes first. Hence why, while they're playing with the new dog, I am up here doing a podcast with a wrestling dude. You know what? Wrestling is weird. Just it is what it is. So, first matchup on the pre-show. Yes, we have to start the pre-show. Damn it. We had Rusev and Lana taking on Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas.
El Idolo!
Yeah. Honestly, compared to their matchup tonight, this one was subpar in my opinion. It felt weird. The ending was obviously botched a little bit, but it's one of those things where it's like, I can't even blame anybody for the botch. It was just one of those things where it was just a miscalculation on where they were doing the spot, because Zelina Vega was supposed to go for a roll-up and put her legs on the ropes, but unfortunately she couldn't reach until the final 3 count. So it was one of those things where you know what, I'm willing to give her a pass on this, just because of the fact that she's Zelina Vega. I've met her, and she is incredible. So yeah, shout out to you, Zelina, and hello. But yeah, Andrade and Zelina won. Moving along.
Yes.
We got the Cruiserweight title matchup between Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander. I personally think that they should have put this on the main card, and that needs to die. Stop putting the Cruiserweights on the pre-show. Put them on the main card. It's not fair to them that they are getting shafted so many times. This is the second year in a row they've had one of the best matches of the night. And even if people complain about the finish, I still thought it was really good. The storytelling Gulak and Cedric Alexander told a really good story between the two of them. You have the technical style of Drew Gulak, who is absolutely amazing. Still pissed off we didn't get a PowerPoint deal during the SummerSlam pre-show, because that would have been an awesome way to spend 5-10 minutes.
Nick 205 Live, great again.
Oh man. And then we had Cedric Alexander's, fast-paced, high-flying deal, because he's Cedric Alexander, he is awesome, and he put on one of the best matches ever that I've seen. Most entertaining, I should say, in the No Louds Noises match. If you guys haven't seen it, I've said this so many times, and I will say it until I die. Go watch that matchup. Him versus ACH, I believe it is. It's a No Louds Noises matchup where the crowd was just completely respectful. They didn't scream, they didn't shout, they didn't clap. Instead of clapping, they did snapping with their fingers. It's amazing. And anytime there was a loud noise, people were just going, shh. It's amazing. I loved it. Even Cedric Alexander got shushed at, and he just goes, sorry.
When was this? When was this?
This was, I think, about a year before the CWC. Maybe the year of the CWC. But, yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Speaking of amazing, like I said, this matchup was great. We see
No-fly zone.
No, the no-fly zone. Oh my gosh, I remember
Trying
that.
to make a no-fly zone sign.
Oh,
Where was that? Where was that?
Yeah, God dang it. But I loved, there was like a moment where Cedric was going for his like Insecurity. Drew Gulak ducked it, locked in the ankle lock. Awesome sequence. Just loved everything that was going into that. And it was funny because I didn't reach that point yet, but for some reason when I was on Twitter, they had like a highlight deal of like the SummerSlam pre-show with Drew Gulak locking in the ankle lock on Cedric. I'm like, is this like a foreshadow? Am I like, I know I'm a couple seconds behind, but I don't think it's happened yet, has it? And I'm guessing maybe it was from a 205 Live recording or something like that. Finish happened with them just doing a couple bits of roll-ups, countering, and then Cedric Alexander would get the final roll-up for the pin. And
tights, what a heel.
Cedric Alexander slowly turning heel. Makes Cedric great again.
Oh, no.
So Cedric Alexander retains. Yeah, I thought this was one of the highlights of the night. It was one of those matches where it's like, yay, we get to see Cedric. Yeah, Cruiserweight title match. Nothing wrong with that. Totally fine with that. It wasn't until we get to this matchup that everything just went off the rails for me. I'm talking mainly prediction-wise, because ever since this matchup, I just got shafted so many times. We had the B team taking on the Revival. Like, first 30 seconds into this matchup, we get a Shatter Machine. And literally, I'm like, oh, gee, okay, we're getting new tag team champions. I'm okay with this. But no, apparently, Mr. Bo and Mr. Curtis Axel, they tuned in their inner Domino from Deadpool, and somehow they picked up the victory. And I was actually livid at this. I was like, are you kidding me? That is how you end.
No.
Oh, the theme music is horrible. Someone please stop it.
Battle Scars.
Battle Scars was an absolutely amazing theme song. Why'd you get rid of it instead of this like random B team generic sport thing?
Oh, Joe Riley theme.
Oh.
Sorry, I just said that name. That's a cuss word. Bleep it out.
Oh my gosh. Bleep Raleigh. That's how we're just going to edit the show. No.
Oh, good.
But, yeah, I do not like this matchup. So that concludes the pre-show. Somebody made the debate about whether we need a pre-show or not. I think it's overkill right now, just having a pre-show with unnecessary matches, especially if they're not going to lead to anything.
1 hour, Sunday Night Heat. Make it like that before. Make it like that. Make Sunday Night Heat great again.
I'm okay with that, because I do remember a lot of times watching either Sunday Night Heat or they even had, you remember Velocity was a thing?
I watched Velocity every weekend. Because my boy, Paul, I was just like, okay, my boy, Paul London's going to be on here. So I would always read the spoilers. Be like, okay, like, Paul London defeats Nunzio with the Shooting Star Press. I'm like, wait, he broke out the Shooting Star Press in the WWE? This I gotta see. It would be every Saturday. I'd be back from my church hockey league. Big oxymoron, by the way. I won't get into that. Christian hockey? Anywho, get back from that, I'd always watch Velocity. I would always watch Heat. I have one specific great memory from Sunday Night Heat, and it was a brief story I actually told on the Kings of the Rings podcast. I was in the hospital with spinal fusion surgery in 99, and I was watching the lead-up to King of the Ring 99.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
And I'm in my hospital bed. I'm a day away from being released. My mother, who is, ironically enough, also a nurse, had to stay in with me to get me around and all that. Did a better job than half the nurses at the Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. Shout out, they're actually a really good hospital, a charity I just helped raise money for this summer. And I'm thinking, I'm going to the nurse, hey, could I order King of the Ring? And I'll go to my mom and say, hey, I'll break into my bank account. I just finished my job as a paper boy. I still have some money. Let's order this sucker. No dice. Then the next morning while I'm waiting for my dad to pick me up, I go online. Billy Gunn? No, what? Billy Gunn! glad I missed that train wreck. And then when I finally rented it when it came out, this sucked. Glad I didn't watch it. But he featured there was a very brief window of time when the Big Boss Man was not on the corporation, and he came out to his Hard Times theme. One time. And then the next night, he comes out to his Hard Time theme again, thinking, we're going to get the Big Boss Man, his baby face. Like, friggin' right, let's do this. Oh, I love you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Frig.
Wrestling is weird, and somehow we love it.
I got more, man. I got more wrestling stories, but we'll keep going on here. Save that for another time.
Well, maybe we'll have to say that for around Survivor Series time. Never know. But we go into the first matchup of the night, which was Seth Rollins with Dean Ambrose taking on Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre in his corner for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a good matchup to start. It was a good match.
Down.
That is basically the best way to sum it up, because Seth Rollins is the new Intercontinental Champion. I liked this matchup. I thought it was good. I have nothing but respect for Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins whenever they wrestle, and when they wrestle each other, it's always great. They broke out a new move during this matchup, which just made my jaw just drop to the ground. Like, that can be a thing? Really?
Wait, was that the reverse superplex into the 1916?
Yes.
My God.
You just
no words.
I literally think, like, they're okay. He's doing that. Oh, superplex. Wait, he's not doing this like a Falcon Arrow, is he? Oh my God, he is. Oh my gosh!
I was expecting the Steiner screwdriver and Dolph Ziggler to literally explode.
Man, let's face it. This is the guy who basically can get kicked in the leg, and somehow he makes it that he's got nerve damage in his neck somehow. So.
He forgot, kicked his leg out of his leg.
Oh, that's true. That is also true.
Rest in peace, Owen.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, like I said, good opening startup deal, and we also get, hopefully, a deal with Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre. I really would want those two to really feud, because that would be amazing. And Lunatic Fringe versus the Scottish Terminator. Are you kidding me? Just take my money now, damn it.
Into my veins, man. Into my veins. Bring it.
Alright, so we had the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, in which the New Day challenged the Bludgeon Brothers. One of the better matches that they've had, and then the finish happened. For me, it was a nostalgic deal just because of the fact that finally they used the hammers. After all this time, they're walking around with these hammers and they don't use them. Use the hammers. Thank God, finally. I'm totally okay with this. But obviously, it led to the rematch that happened tonight, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, you gave me the big thumbs down. I agree. This was one of those matches where it's like, well, this is kind of stupid. No, it's not kind of. It is stupid. Never mind. Just
well, if they did what they did tonight, it would have been a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
But I think because they did what they did tonight because Rowan might have a torn bicep.
Oh, jeez.
And that if he's getting surgery, that's like 6, 7, 8 months out. But maybe we get to see Luke Harper in a singles role. Like we got to see the modern day Bruiser Brody get another title run. I mean, this guy is criminally underrated. Best big man in ages.
Definitely do agree with that. I love watching Luke Harper when he was a singles guy. I thought he was a pretty decent Intercontinental Champion, but I think that's only because of the fact that they didn't use him to his full potential. But I think that, with what they're doing now, they could probably start bringing it back to where it's like, okay, we're doing full potential here. Let's give him the reins. Let's have him just go crazy. Totally okay with that.
He's one of my boys because he's a huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And to me, that's... You go way up my list.
Well, speaking of Canada, next matchup on here is Kevin Owens taking on Braun Strowman for the Money in the Bank contract. Had Braun Strowman been disqualified or counted out, he would have lost the contract. Yeah, this stipulation didn't really matter. This matchup lasted like less than 2 minutes. Braun Strowman kills Kevin Owens, just wrecks him, choke slams him on the ramp, bulldozes him whenever he sees fit, power slam, 1, 2, 3. Braun wins. Roar. Moving on.
As the French say, tabarnak.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you what that means.
I think I might have to look it up because now I'm just curious. Just like earlier today when I had Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret on, I was like,
what?
Yeah, I thought
you're gonna
like,
drop that ball right here, Brian Zane?
Yeah, I've actually had him on a couple.
Yeah.
I've had him on a couple times, but this is one of those times where we talked about. Well, I guess I'll do the cheap plug right now. Go check out the interview that I had with Brian Zane. We talked about a little briefly about SummerSlam stuff that went on, as well as his Internet Darlings 2 that's going on in the UK in just a few weeks. So guys, be sure to check that out. It's gonna be fun. You get to deal with Botchamania. You get to deal with Cultaholics. You get to deal with Wrestle Talk. It's gonna be a can't miss show. So definitely check that out, you guys. But yeah, again, Braun Strowman wins. Bruh.
I love Kevin. I've been a big Kevin Steen fan since at least 2009 when he had his feud with Generico and ROH.
Yeah.
And when he package pile drived Maria Bennett.
Oh God, I think I remember that.
The package pile driver on the ladder. But probably the best thing, maybe, like, as much as I wanted to see Kevin Owens win the briefcase, and I'm a big Braun fan, because he has that, places he's taking the dump at app.
Jesus, I remember that.
I think maybe when Braun wins the title, you'll get like the annoying little brat Kevin Owens just kind of nipping at his heels.
That's a possibility, but we'll never know. I think right now Kevin Owens is going to be he's going to be in a cave somewhere just licking his wounds, and I totally don't blame him.
Take some time off after doing 2 death-defying bumps in 2 months. Take some bloody time off.
Yeah, I agree.
Poor guy.
Well, we know somebody who's not poor, and that is indeed Charlotte, who challenged Carmella and took on also Becky Lynch in a triple threat match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship.
I'm sorry again, Nate, but when you were speaking about not being poor, you forgot to mention that Mella is money.
Shut the hell up. Damn it.
Is it Phil or G-Rod that does that?
Honestly, this is not only one of the best SmackDown Women's Championship matches in quite a while, but this is probably the best that Carmella has looked ever. I even admit, as a Carmella hater, that I thought she did absolutely amazing in this matchup. She picked her moments wisely. She had a moment where she... I actually absolutely loved this, where she hits Becky Lynch in the back of the head while Becky's back was turned. Charlotte conveniently strolls up in the ring, and Carmella just goes into the bottom turnbuckle, looking like, ow, she hit me, ow. And Becky's just like, did you just hit me? Charlotte's, no, she hit you. I don't believe that for a second. And that's where you see the slow dissension where it's like, we're getting something good here. Becky Lynch would lock Carmella in the disarm her twice, which was absolutely amazing. Loved it. But then Charlotte would come out of nowhere with a natural selection for the 3 count, and Charlotte is the new SmackDown Live Women's Champion. And hey, they rub it in our face that, hey, she's tied with Trish Stratus. She's a 7 times champion. It's like, she didn't deserve to win it now. I feel like she's going to break Trish's record. And
she's going to break Ric Flair's record.
She's going to break her own dad's record. She's going to break John Cena's record. Now, oh God, and that still puts a bad taste in my mouth that I have to put Ric Flair and John Cena in the same sentence.
You know what? I met Ric Flair earlier this year.
Yeah.
Couldn't be nicer. I didn't dare mention John Cena to him, but couldn't be a nicer guy. Same thing with Trish and Lita. Trish called me champ because I walked in with my big gold. So I'm like,
my God.
oh boy, this is. I'm going to get out of here quite fast. And I really loved that. Even Mela, she was wearing a little bit of pink and black for the Anvil.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And that Natty came out in the same jacket her dad wore at SummerSlam 1990 when the Hart Foundation beat Demolition in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the titles.
This basically is an event that was dedicated... This event should have been dedicated completely to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And honestly, for the most part, it was a good show. It really was. It's just some parts of it were bad. And unfortunately, Charlotte winning the title was not one of those moments we needed to have. But the moment that happened after she won, that's when it became all worth it. Basically, we thought like, oh great, we're getting Becky and Sasha again, where they're just hugging each other. Oh, I love you, and blah blah blah. Nope, no. As soon as the second hug happened, Becky Lynch just beats the ever-living piss out of Charlotte. Just. Oh my God! And we heard the crowd. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. And just God help me, this was an absolutely amazing moment. And people are saying like, "Oh, it's the most memorable part of SmackDown, like SummerSlam." Yeah, I agree. I mean, this was one of those matches where it's like, yeah, this moment made everything about this night like really good. So. Totally okay with this, and we'll definitely talk about what Becky had to say about tonight just a bit. We still got a little bit more of SummerSlam to talk about. Samoa Joe took on AJ Styles for the WWE title. They had TNA chants. They had the two of them beating the ever-living hell out of each other. AJ Styles almost broke Samoa Joe's neck with the Styles Clash, the move that Jericho fought so hard to keep safe. We see that, and it's like, oh, okay, Samoa Joe's...
The move that Yoshitatsu wants banned.
Yeah, well, that's also Yoshitatsu, who has...
He's greener than grass.
Well, yeah. And he's also best known for his thank you gimmick of just saying nothing but thank you. Oh, my gosh.
And he should have tagged with Perry Saturn. Thank you, you're welcome. Thank you, you're welcome. The writing, it writes itself. It's classic. And they can be booked as Canadians because we're known for apparently being polite. Oh, sorry, thank you. We'll boot this.
Well, before we get too much into Anchorman 2, let's get back to SummerSlam.
I've never seen that.
Oh, fair. I'll tell you after the show what I'm kind of referring to. But yeah, this matchup I thought was really good. Like I said, they had TNA chants, great action between the two of them. Storytelling by Samoa Joe, AJ Styles was great. The ending of the matchup, a lot of people didn't like, but it made sense. It made absolute sense how they did it because Samoa Joe just tosses AJ into the steel steps, and little did we know he got busted open. And it's like, oh God, that's a pretty good gash. And then we hear Samoa Joe basically saying, "Oh, I guess I lied. I guess your dad's not going to be coming home tonight, but that's okay. I'll be your new daddy." And that's when everybody's just like, oh boy, AJ Styles, you better kick this Samoan's ass. And he did. He jumps onto the announce table, spears him into the barricade, steel chair, boom, boom. Referee's just saying, you know what, it's done. Styles is disqualified. Didn't matter at all. We see Styles beating the ever-living piss out of Samoa Joe for good reason. Totally get it. And here's the interesting part is that a lot of people did mention this, that Styles was going over to, his wife and his daughter, who obviously is probably like, oh gosh, I'd say maybe like 3, maybe 4. She was very young. She was still baby. And you just hear her saying, "Daddy, you're bleeding. And Styles went to, hold her, give her kind of like a hug, but then she's just like, yeah, nope, I want to go back to mommy. And it's one of those things like, I understand.
Yeah.
If I had a kid who saw me bleeding, I would probably not want them near me either, to be fair, because I don't want them to see me like that. It's just one of those things where I think it was a freak accident. It happened. Unfortunately, I think it scars his daughter for life now. Oh,
Foley example.
Oh, man.
And Joe, like, I think the reason why we had something Joe do is because a certain someone was fired earlier this year when Samoa Joe went, "Hey, Wendy, how you doing?"
Oh, jeez.
Taking a page out of yet the person who we should not name's book.
Yeah, the guy who basically talks about his penis. Let's just say that. What does this guy have to do with it? What does fill in the blank have to do with it?
Exactly.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Redacted. What does bacon have to do with it?
So WWE basically tried to do a page out of New Japan where they had one really good matchup and they followed it up with another really good matchup. I still think, in my opinion, that Samoa Joe Styles was match of the night as far as it goes, but this was a very close second. Miz versus Daniel Bryan. The emotions, the physicality between the two of them, it was really good. This was what we needed in a SummerSlam matchup. The Miz and Daniel Bryan they're doing their moves to each other. They're doing the it kicks, the yes kicks, the drop kicks, everything that you can imagine. And then the ending happened where we see Miz hit Daniel Bryan in the face with brass knuckles, pins him for the 1-2-3. And like I said, this is what had to happen because I feel like if they would have just had Daniel Bryan win, it would have been story over. No follow-up, no nothing. But I loved this matchup. I think that the right decision was made to have The Miz win because now this basically feuds into the next event, which, trust me, we're going to be talking about that in just a bit. But yeah, I loved this. I thought, again, very close second to match of the night, even though it's AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, and I know. I'm a TNA mark. I'm sorry, but when I see a TNA...
I love old TNA too, man. Don't apologize. I used to watch... do you remember when satellite dishes used to have those little cards where you can kind of, not really, but yes, actually steal pay-per-views?
Oh, I think I do, actually.
I have an old friend, long old friend who, I'll advertise this. I'm a Christian, and it was the same fellow that led me to the Lord had this, and he taped everything wrestling. We had I mentioned it in my blog, fretzomania.wordpress.com, that it's my buddy Dave's basement, where I've had numerous pay-per-view watching parties. I would give him like a bulk pack of VHS tapes. Oh, remember VHS?
BC.
If you fill it, it's like NWA TNA, like Survivor Series 2002. Just fill it. Ever since then, even since those friggin' cage dancers.
Oh, geez, yeah. I remember that being a thing.
Like flying Elvises and everything. So you don't ever apologize for being a mark for TNA because although I've just got back into Impact Wrestling thanks to GWN and Slammiversary, holy shit. Enough said there. Yeah, I watch AJ Styles and he was in WCW. Like at the tail end. That's as far back as I go with him.
Jeez.
AJ Styles and Air Paris against, was it like Elix Skipper and whoever he tagged with?
Simon Diamond? What? I don't even remember.
Oh, no, this was WCW, so it might have been Team Canada with Lance Storm.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I'm an encyclopedia. I can give you all these references, dude.
I'm totally okay with that. So, basically with this next matchup, we only need to say one thing. The Demon is back, baby! Demon Balor defeats Baron Corbin in a matter of 95 seconds. What more do you need to say other than the fact that Baron Corbin is a whiny little baby about, I didn't agree to face the Demon. I agreed to face Finn Balor, the man. It's like, dude, just calm down. You're facing... You're facing...
They're the same person, you tool.
Wait, they're the same person? I'm in shock. Next thing you're going to tell me is Glenn Jacobs and Kane are the same person.
What?
My life is a lie.
You mean Mr. America is Hulk Hogan? Mind blown.
My life is a lie.
am I?
Oh, man. So, next matchup we had on here was for the United States Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Jeff Hardy. All I can say about this matchup is Jeff needs time off. He needs to recuperate. He needs to have time to where he's just not fighting the King of Strong Style, as I can see with that shirt.
NXT.
Oh my gosh, NXT, yes. Strong Style. Yeah, so basically Jeff Hardy, worst thing that he could have done was do a swanton bomb onto the apron, which he did, and it's like, why? Why do you do this to yourself? Thankfully, it was like a mercy killing for Nakamura. He just hits the Kinshasa, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Then we get this nice sort of poo-filled segment where Randy Orton just came out and he's just like, I'm going to come down to the ring. What? Nope, I'm walking back up the ramp. So, no reason for him to come out at all. Except
so
to say...
He didn't pull his ear pulling that his mother used to do to him when he was a kid. And then that would make you tap out. Yeah, I'm sorry for bringing back the bad memories. Been there, done that.
Oh, man.
That'd make anyone tap out.
I made a comment on Twitter earlier. It was one of those things where I said, it's amazing to see Randy Orton go from every woman's dream to every woman's nightmare in like a matter of one day.
Yep.
And then also became every man's nightmare when we found out about the fact that he likes to shake his hands with his Yeah,
if I meet him, I'm actually not even gonna get in line. I've never liked Orton, anyways. Yeah, I'm getting in the line with Elias because I walk with Elias. So.
Well, I think that's a good transition to where we talk about Elias. He comes out, and it seems like he's going to do a song, but then his guitar just breaks in half. He has a little temper tantrum, and leaves.
My guitar, although I don't have one, gently weeps. We will deny again.
This concert of Elias. Sing and play on, man. So we had the Raw Women's title matchup. Literally, this was a match in which we see, Ronda dominates. And I forgot how entertaining she could be because of the fact that she did a deal where Alexa Bliss is on the outside and Ronda just says, oh, come on, get in the ring. No? Okay, I'm going to turn my back to you. How about that? No? Okay, I'll just sit here. Does that work? No? I'll close my eyes then. I literally think that she's basically doing a Jinder Mahal deal where she's just sitting there meditating. Shakti.
We get it. You're an Ashanti fan, Jinder. Get over it.
Well, it's kind of part of his D-push, but, whatever.
Salty Ronda, though.
Yep, she literally did. This was what we were all knew what was going to happen. We knew about Alexa Bliss's, condition with her arm. She's double jointed, and we had that moment where she basically looked like she just got her arm completely wrecked.
Disgusting.
It was disgusting, but it was still a cool moment. We see Ronda lock in the arm bar. Alexa Bliss taps out like immediately. And then Ronda's, she's happy. She's celebrating with Natty and with the Bella twins. Why are you here? And then she goes out and she makes out with her husband. And all of my fantasies of Ronda Rousey just died in that one single moment. And it's like, I need to find a new boo. Oh, Peyton Royce, coming.
Well, since meeting Trish and Lita, no comment.
Well,
this was for you, and I love that she paid a little bit of tribute to Neidhart and Piper.
Oh, right.
I'm not sure the feed caught it, but you can hear her on the stage going, "This is for you, Piper. This is for you, Neidhart." And they're two of my absolute favorites. Like Piper, that's the one wrestler's passing that I think I took the hardest.
I remember doing a podcast the day that he passed away, and I just remember being completely emotional during that. And I said, I can't finish up this podcast. I really can't because I'm too devastated. It was one of those things where it was very hard to take in because even though I've never really known Piper for a long time, he still made that big of an impact. He's one of those guys who knows how to create gold with everything that he touches. And Piper, sorely missed. We missed you, man.
He was born. He was born the same year as my father, and at the time he was dealing with some pretty serious health issues. Right. And well, he's fine now, thank God. But like that on top of it was too much for me. And before that we lost. It was like 2 weeks before that we lost Dusty. And that was another hard one. It was like, I mean, he's a legend. He built NXT. He basically built NXT.
Yeah, that was a bad year for all wrestling fans around, and the fact that Dusty Rhodes made such a huge impact that he definitely got like notoriety and recognition from a lot of news deals. That definitely tells you the type of person Dusty Rhodes was. So it's very hard to move on from a note like this, but well. From one sad thing to another, I guess is the best way to segue to this. Is we get the Universal title match as the main event. Brock Lesnar taking on the arm-warming, wet-haired, suffering succotash saying Roman Reigns. And Braun Strowman came out and he's just like, doesn't matter which one of you wins, I'll be waiting out here, ready to cash in. And yeah, we see Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns fight for 6 minutes and 10 seconds. A couple of suplexes, made a lot of spears from Roman, a lot of Superman punches from Roman. There was a point where Roman tried to do like his Big E impression, but he just does like a suicide dive onto Braun Strowman. Braun gets hit with the F5. Brock Lesnar would then get distracted by Braun. Roman hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. Finally, they give Roman Reigns the belt. It's like, why did it take this long for you guys to put the belt on him?
You see this bottle of water?
Yep.
This is actually the Smarketeers that Rant with Ant was talking about.
I did reference that in my review.
I gotta give Ant DeStefano a shout out to that. I mean, I'll say this: I'm not a Roman guy. I'll boo him for fun. He's a damn good worker. I thought his booking was mediocre at best, but now that we get a champion who's going to be there on Raw and maybe defend the title, actually, I'm all for it.
Totally, definitely for it. And we got that the following night on Raw. We got Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Roman basically said, well, this guy never got a rematch, so I think it's finally high time that we give him a rematch. Let's do it. And, yep, that was the main event. We'll talk about just a couple other things during the show. Just thinking of things that are worth highlighting. Revival defeated Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel back-to-back in singles matches. Well, that's good. That means we're getting a rematch. Hopefully, we can get Revival a tag team title run out of this. We got Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler in what was a really good matchup. Oh my god, this needs to be in 2K20. That whole pop-up deal into the Dirty Deeds was just absolutely beautiful. Just mind-blowing. It was beautiful. I loved every single minute of it. And I remember just telling my friends, like, that's got to be in 2K20. And I just remember so many people saying back, people are just going to use that as their default finisher, right? It's like, yeah, pretty much, I know that. It's just how it's going to go.
Never changing mine.
Never.
I'm still the Steiner screwdriver, and I have been since No Mercy.
Nice. Very nice. We had Ronda come out, and she's having their championship celebration deal. She breaks Stephanie McMahon's arm again. I'm still okay with this, even though it's like the third time I've seen it. I'm still okay with it. I mean, it's almost like our equivalent of McMahon getting stunned by Stone Cold. So,
Austin got McMahon. My God, if this McMahon feud doesn't have beer trucks, Zambonis, cement trucks, cranes, come on.
Well, it's got to have like some originality to it. Like honestly, I think it'd be kind of cool to see a deal where Stephanie's like getting her hair done, and then basically Ronda just It's kind of like that movie from that scene from the movie like Bride Wars, where like Anne Hathaway, she puts like blue hair gel in, like I think it's Kate Hudson's hair, so she was expecting to come out blonde, and then she gets her hair done, and Kate Hudson's just going like, "It's blue! My hair is blue!"
It's the female blue meanie!
Oh my god, Stephanie.
Don't get her anywhere near JBL!
Oh man, blue-haired Stephanie or green-haired Stephanie. It's literally one of those things where I will laugh my ass off every time just thinking about that. And if it becomes a reality, I'll be like, yes, Stephanie's still getting her comeuppance. It's not a physical deal, but still, what hurts more than physical pain? Mental pain. Mental images stuck in your head. Just have that. Don't do the same thing as Stone Cold and McMahon, but definitely do some crazy batshit stuff that hasn't been done before. Start with hair, start with anything. Just, even if they did like a deal where she's trying to get like a suntan and maybe Ronda just changes it. Or, no, she's getting like that spray tan deal. And Ronda's just like, you know what, let's just make it a little bit like dark. And she just comes out like completely orange. Oh my god. Just like an...
You mean like her husband?
Maybe like her husband, yeah. Just... But then you combine the orange skin with the green hair, people are going to make Yes!
I'm going to book a barrel for you. My ass will break his skin.
Oh my god. I kind of want this to be a thing now. It's so stupid, but I'm just imagining that in my head.
Bring back Hornswoggle for that, then.
Oh, God. Hornswoggle's just...
Get Super Porky in the midget division in with it. Why not?
Oh, my gosh. Stephanie, I respect you, but at the same time, I'm loving that Ronda's basically kicking your ass every single time. So...
Second generation McMahon feud.
Totally okay with that. Then we get into the main event, which is Roman Reigns defeating Mr. Finn Balor. Braun Strowman comes out, and he's going to be like, I'm going to cash in my thing. And the next thing you know, we hear Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield. Oh my gosh. I almost pulled my hair out from excitement. I'm like, what? No. And then I see Dean and Seth coming out in Shield attire. What? No. Then they surround the ring. What? Triple powerbomb to Braun Strowman through the announce table. My life is complete. Holy cow. And it makes total sense too, because obviously Roman Reigns cannot probably beat Braun Strowman on his own, so he needs to assemble an army. Why not the Shield? I'm okay with this.
Heel Shield. I think this is going to work if it's heel.
Well, like Brian Zane said, but we won't know until Monday, until whether they're face or whether they're heel. So,
well, I think either way, they're so over. Minus Roman. I mean, the last time they did the Shield experiment with Roman, it semi-worked. But that was when Vince was in desperation mode, like, we have to get Roman over. Roman must look strong, pal. And then, Ambrose gets hurt, and everything just gets a big old kibosh into it.
Yeah, well, let's hope that this time around that things are different, but I have my doubts for obvious reasons. Nothing that's doubting, Vince McMahon at all, even though, I think I have my every right to have my doubts about Vince McMahon. Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens in the meantime. But, all right, let's talk.
Promo. Yeah. Talk about that. That was neat.
Oh, the Roman promo that you did yesterday?
No, Triple H.
Oh, that's right. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. The
Melbourne, Australia.
The Super Showdown.
In Melbourne.
Why can't you have it in Canada?
Just do a Super Showdown at the Sky Dome. Oh, I'm sorry, Rogers Center. I'll call it the Sky Dome. Who cares? It's to me, it's been the Sky Dome since like however long it's open, 89, 79. Rogers Center. Like, they just renamed the Air Canada Center the Scotiabank Place, and like there's like 4 arenas in the NHL in Canada that have the name Scotiabank in it. No. Yeah, Canada Super Show. Come on, Vinny. They have it in Sauble Beach. There's enough people here in the summertime.
Just come on, people, throw me a freaking bone. I have nothing. I want a mini-me. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, let's. I love that they basically talked about how with Triple H, how he's basically just saying, we wanted it to be an end of an era, basically after WrestleMania 28, where that was going to be it. That was basically the last deal. But then he made actually a really good deal where he's just like, I want it to kind of ride off one more time. I still want that feeling of an era to still be there. So it's one of those things where, it's like, I understand where Triple H is coming from, but I also understand that he wants to just continue to still be good, and he knows that The Undertaker is not going to be something he's going to take lightly. So I'm honestly looking forward to this matchup. Is it going to be as good as some of their passive counters? Well, probably not, but I think it's still going to be one of those things you can't miss because you never know what they're going to pull out.
It's going to be emotional, to quote that British soccer player actor guy at Capital Carnage 98, Vinnie Jones. It's gonna be emotional. Like the 2 biggest icons, arguably in the history of the WWE. One more time, like Taker's 50-something, Triple H is 40-something. Just the nostalgia alone, even dating back to when the Blue Blood faced, the Dead Men on Monday Night Raw in '96. It's everything about that match, everything from their history. You got WrestleMania X7, you got, 27 and 28. I thought End of an Era was going to be, like, the last match for all of them. And then, Taker has, 10 more WrestleMania matches after that.
Yeah, roughly about that much. So,
and if they say last time ever, like, don't book this at WrestleMania 35, like, who knows what Taker's condition will even be at that point.
Yeah. I still think they're going to go with Cena and Taker at Mania, but who knows? So far, I will actually tell you that what they have so far planned for this. So far, they have 4 matches, I guess, planned out. First one, of course, is The Undertaker versus Triple H. Originally, we were supposed to get Cena and Kevin Owens, but I guess it's been turned to a tag match in which we'll see Cena and Bobby Lashley taking on Kevin Owens and Elias. So they're kind of continuing the feud between Lashley and Elias, I guess. But I think it's still going to be a pretty good matchup. I'm not going to complain. Right. This one's actually kind of an interesting one. They have Daniel Bryan versus The Miz in a singles match for a future WWE Championship opportunity. So there's a distinct chance that we could get Daniel Bryan versus AJ or Joe, or The Miz versus AJ or Joe. I see why this is a really good thing to be excited for. I'm okay with this.
I see why I guess we might as well dive into it, but the SmackDown promo where Miz is just like, you'll never get the chance to face me again. This is writing on the wall for them slow burning and continuing this feud through Mania, where Daniel, one of them, probably The Miz, will win the WWE title at, let's say, Survivor Series. Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble. WrestleMania.
Honestly, I can't think of a better build right now. There's a part of me that would be impartial to say that I would like to see somebody like maybe Sami Zayn maybe gets the win at Royal Rumble, and maybe we can get Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at Mania. Actually, you could still do that. Honestly,
yep.
Man. Honestly, I would have probably Kevin Owens win the Universal title within the next few months. Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble, or maybe the Elimination Chamber deal. And, yeah, they headline WrestleMania. And that would be absolutely amazing. I would totally be down for that. Because then they would also add more prestige to the Universal title. as long as they keep it away from Brock Lesnar. God dang it.
He's going to be getting jobbed out to, not Mark Hunt, whoever the guy is that challenged him. He's going to get jobbed out to that, and then he'll go and ride off into the sunset and live his life in Winnipeg. You idiot.
It's stupid, idiot. Let's get it right.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, well, might as well go into SmackDown then, because you did mention Miz having a great promo at the beginning. I honestly thought the build-up was going to be him basically saying, him basically crying. He's like, and he'll be saying like, "These are tears of joy because I told you so." But but nope, he went down the route of being like, "Oh, well, I'm going to retire. I'm going to retire from facing Daniel Bryan ever again." And it's like, yep, that's Miz. He's a troller. That's
gold. I hate him. That is gold. I mean, he's damn good at his job. If he's making me despise him so much as I have for the past decade.
As much as I despise him, that's nothing compared to what happens in the next few minutes. Daniel Bryan comes out, and he just repeatedly calls him a coward, a coward, a coward, which, goddamn, that was just beautiful. And literally we see The Miz hiding behind Maryse, and it's like, well, this is not going to end well for Daniel Bryan. And that's when we hear... I hate
that theme so much.
Oh man! And I had people commenting. They were saying, "Isn't Brie Mode like when she gets like really, really drunk?" It's like, well, she might as well have been drunk making this theme music. Good Lord, why is this a thing? Then we get announced that they're going to be battling in a mixed tag match. It'll be Miz and Maryse taking on Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan. In which I had the very accurate tweet of saying, well, I mean, Miz and Maryse got buried by one Bella twin at WrestleMania. Why not have her get buried by another one?
Well, Miz got socked right in the face by Brie.
Jeez.
Magnifique. So why not go the full circle and get buried by both total fellas?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, geez, I'm trying to think of what else we had here. There was a match between Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton in which Jeff Hardy basically said, "Yep, goodbye to your nuts." Boop, stomp. And, yeah, they're continuing their feud, so it'll be interesting.
Gives me the EVTVs.
Just,
yeah, I'm not going to get into it. I'll have to open another drink.
So also we had the explanation that was laid out by Becky Lynch. Loved the promo, except there is a but here. She had a comment where she said that while Charlotte won the matchup and you fans stood up and you applauded. At that moment, I was just like, that's a WWE written line. Because if anything, they know for a fact that they did not stand up and applaud for Charlotte. They were booing Charlotte out of the building for winning that championship. And they were cheering for Becky Lynch. And again, like I said before, Becky Lynch is one of those people right now who people are not going to boo. They like her because she's good in the ring. She's great on the mic, especially now with this new change. And just... it's hard to dislike her. It's one of those things where it's like, why hate her? Why boo her? You're not giving us any reason to. The only way you could probably do that is if she, kicks, random puppies, or she slaps a baby, or she does a bunch of horrible things. There's like all these.
She slaps Monroe. She kidnaps Monroe Sky or something like that.
God. Don't give WWE ideas. That's like an episode of Ms. and Mrs. where Monroe Sky is missing and Becky Lynch is just like in like an era just being maniacal. God dang. There's a part of me now that wants that to be a thing just because I think people are still going to defend her. They're just going to be like, well, Monroe Sky needs to have a better mama. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, they're going to go the Samoa Joe route with this one. Oh, No.
I knew
I just have a foul stench of Claire Lynch for some reason when it comes to that.
Oh, God. Oh,
thing.
no.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, too.
Yeah,
Damn it.
that was my falling out with TNA.
Well, I mean, we got the addiction out of it.
I'm sorry about... What's that?
We got the addiction out of it, at least. I mean, we got Kazarian and Daniels, so...
Yeah, that's fine.
At least there was one good thing that came out of it.
Charlotte, though,
absolutely.
When she was... Nick Giacobbe from Who Got Next, I think he was at SmackDown tonight.
Okay.
And he was tweeting out that, when we show hardcore booze.
Oh, she was getting hardcore booze?
They were just showing, hardcore booze, and they were showing like some other highlight or something for SummerSlam, and I just think Kevin Dunn's getting on that mute button.
Whew. Yeah, I think he's just trying to be like, nope, this is the direction we need to go, You can't always control your fans. I mean, there's sometimes where it works, where if you can actually have the, like for The Miz, a lot of people love the guy, and he still finds a way to get booed, but that's because he can be a, pretentious prick. Elias is another guy who can get booed, but that's also because of the fact that he knows how to, push a button where it's like, hey, you like me, guess what? Now you don't.
Guess what? Local sports team reference.
It's just one of those things where it's like, if you do more of that, then they'll boo. But if you're going to just, do deals where it's like, oh, we want this person to be cheered, let's mute this and actually have people just cheered put in here. It's like, no. That's not...
Becky should just start calling everyone wankers and cunts, and she'll get instant heat.
Oh, man. But also, speaking of Charlotte, it did evolve into a brawl between Charlotte and Becky where the women came out and they separated the two. I said before, I'll say it again. This is basically getting an Undertaker-Brock Lesnar treatment, and I love it. I'm totally okay with it. What I was also okay with was what happened a little later on the night where we get a backstage deal with Paige and Carmella. Carmella wants her rematch, and then here comes fucking R-Truth. Just basically talking about how he's like, you've been ducking me for a long time, and now I want my match for the title. And Paige just reaches a point where she's like, just stand over. It's like she's the teacher, and she's talking to a misbehaving student. It's like, just stand in the corner there. Just stay in the corner there. And the next thing you know, she's like, okay, you'll get your rematch for the title next week. Carmella leaves. And then all we hear from Paige is just like, just Truth, put Carmella down. It's like, oh my God. And then you hear the phrase, now that's what's up. It's like,
is he okay? That's what I want to know. Is he okay? How long has he been in the business? I mean, he was in the WWE like 18 years ago. Too many hits to the head in the hardcore division, pal.
Oh my God. And this is also a reason why I want the hardcore title back now. Because then you have like these stupid little mini feuds like Carmella versus R-Truth where just them doing that. Come on, just give me something good. I would love to see that. I would love to see the hardcore title just float in like Raw, SmackDown, 205, NXT. Maybe they showed up at like a Progress show or something like that.
They show up at UK. Maybe Matt Riddle does something. Oh wait, Matt Riddle's signed now. Never mind, bro.
Well, he could still show up in the UK UK's NXT.
And if they do one backstage promo with Matt Riddle and Zack Ryder, complete.
Just take my money. Take my house, take everything, I take this car, that's not your car, I don't care, just take it. You've given me what I needed in life.
I'll switch my big gold belt over there to the Internet Championship and mail it out to him.
So, to close off the show on SmackDown, we get the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship No DQ matchup, which features the New Day taking on the Bludgeon Brothers. And as you mentioned before, because of the fact that probably Eric Rowan's going to have to get surgery soon, New Day came out victorious. And in the same arena where Francesca was born, they get their 5th tag team title run. New Day is now 5-time tag team champions. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here. Because if the Bludgeon Brothers are going to be out of commission, well, they still have a little bit of competition. They have the Club, Good Brothers, I'm sorry. They also have the Bar, they have Sanity. There is a good tag team division built up here, and I'm just hoping that they utilize it well. But we'll see. We will just have to see. So,
the Good Brothers and the Bar have a match next week for a future title opportunity.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that takes place in, my neck of the woods, in the T-Dot, in the 6, as they call it.
Yeah, there we go.
And, they're Toronto fans are decent. They like to do things like boo Bailey, and
I mean,
As soon as I saw that, I pictured McMahon going like, "We're never going back to this shithole again, Toronto. You're fired."
Or oh gosh, I remember back my first SummerSlam was 2004, where they were booing the baby faces and cheering the heels.
They booed Edge.
That's right. I remember that. They were so sick and tired of his shtick.
Well, it was his. I think a good chunk of it was his shtick. It was the fact that he was coming out to his 1998 theme because the Rob Zombie license expired. And yeah, they wanted they were wanting a change. Like all my friends, I can tell you, everyone from back home loved Batista at the time. He got like the pop of the night, basically.
Yeah, I do. I actually do remember that too, and that was kind of, I think, the slow ascension for him to where he became the superstar that we would eventually know that he would become, and that is the Animal and probably one of the biggest badasses in WWE. So,
and Drax the Destroyer, don't forget.
That is also very true. He makes an amazing Drax. He is Drax. He is the reason why we ask the question, why is Gamora?
What is Gamora?
What is Gamora? Good Lord! If you would have said that, then I literally would have just fallen off my seat laughing.
Hall of Fame induction speech. Do it, Dave.
What is WWE?
Who is Hall of Fame?
Who is Hall of Fame?
Just don't let anyone talk about your wang. So.
Oh gosh, let's not.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah. All right. So before we finish the show, I do have a couple of announcements to make, and one does pertain to my guest here, Mr. Fretz. Now, you did actually earn a championship shot at Extreme Rules. You did have the most right. You did earn a number one-on-one shot, and then, of course, Nick shot his mouth off, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pile in more people into this. So, I'm going to promise you your one-on-one shot. It'll be you versus the one and only Nick Marvin for the Game Changer Championship at Hell in the Cell in a prediction battle.
Oh, bring it on! Because you're talking to the guy with 1,004 gimmicks. Dusty Dave, I love you. Ever since I saw Promo Class, I've been just cooking one up in my brain. They call me the American National Treasure from Canada, the Red and White Machine, the King of Hop Style, 202 Live. Bubbles is a stunt double, Crash Holly's distant cousin, Andrew Carey's illegitimate son. Marvin, you're missing with Mr. Fretz. Bring it.
Oh, man, I actually got a little bit of goosebumps from that. That was really good. And speaking of Mr. Dave, I actually do have a bit of a shout-out as well as a challenge to the Kings of the Rings podcast, you guys. Now that you guys are done with Summer Rant, you're obviously going to need something to do. So, with that being said, I think it's time to have a little bit of brotherly competition. And I am saying that it needs to start at Hell in the Cell. Now, who am I going to be challenging? Well, why not the man of 1,000 gimmicks himself, Mr. Dusty Dave. This is a shout-out and a challenge to you. I challenge you to a prediction battle at Hell in a Cell. The Game Changer versus the Kings of the Rings podcast, man of 1,000 gimmicks. And trust me, guys, I'm going to take each of you down one by one by one. And it is going to be awesome. And that's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
And it will set you free.
So for Mr. Fretz, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for your time. It is absolutely awesome having you on. I understand why they call you Legend, because you are indeed legend. Wait for it, dary.
It was one of my coworkers that came up with the legendary JF, so that has nothing to do with wrestling, actually. Every morning, he's like, my coworker Greg, is like, legendary JF.
Yeah, and my nickname came from a friend of mine who just, one day, he just had me on the show, and he just said, here with Nate the fucking Great. So it was one of those things where it's like, it sticks, but I'm going to condense the fucking part. I'm going to make it effing. And there were people that have actually said, I appreciate the fact that you condensed down the effing part. It's like, yeah, there's a good reason for it, because if I would have had the whole deal in there, that I think a lot of people would definitely just not want to listen to me. It's like, you listen to a guy named Nate the fucking Great? Come on. So I thought, effing. At least you can maybe just put in your own thing. It's like Nate the fudging great, or Nate the frickin' great, Nate the funny great. Whatever you want to put in there. FN, whatever. So again, for Mr. Fretz, I have been Nate the effing great. This has been the Game Changer. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Game Changer. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.